Hi, it's Joy, and today my emotional support baby Yoda and I are going to be watching the finale to Haunting of Hill House, Season 1, Episode 10, Silence Lay Steadily. And I'm very worried about Luke, I'm worried about everybody, everyone's going back to the house. I'm excited to find out what's been going on, to get answers, to hopefully put everything to rest. A couple of people have said that I should be okay, like I should like the ending, you know, my worst fears of it being the worst ending ever or anything don't seem like that's what's going to happen, which is good. A reminder that if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon. Thank you so much, Albert, for sponsoring this series. I have really enjoyed it. Like, it's not overly scary, I just over-scare myself, and that's why I need this little guy. But yeah, without further ado, for one last time, let's return to Hill House.
Mr. Dudley said,
oh Lord, I don't already want to see the other side, although I kind of already have, but...
Not a pony.
What?
It could be a pony.
What the hell?
Hello?
Oh my god!
You're not funny, Luke.
Jesus Christ, was she in the red room? Like, are there lots of rooms in this house that others can't get into? Because that wasn't the red room when they went and they had tea. What is going on?
I am home. I am home.
So when is this?
Hey, that's all the fries. Nothing but fries.
What, have I missed something?
I always said I'm never gonna do a follow-up to Hill House, and I think this is why.
So is this real? Right, I just need to pause you guys for a second. Right, episode... I watched Screaming... I haven't missed anything, okay. This is either a flash forward or the house is in his head.
It's the best cure for
I want it to be a flash forward.
Don't use those words.
One day she's gonna ask about her grandfather and about her Uncle Luke. What happened in that house?
Did they both die? That's what that sounds
All
like.
sorts of stories. This is for little Eleanor.
Oh god.
Powerful pattern under the hands of its builders.
Oh lord.
Reared its great head back against the sky without concession to humanity.
He's a dramatic writer, I
There's
see.
a house without...
Oh, I don't like this.
I think I know where to find him. It's okay.
Oh, that little moment was like he was a little kid again. Like something scary happened and he wanted his dad. Oh. Stay together, 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 stay together. Oh my fuck. Oh my fuck. They didn't stay together. They didn't stay together. Oh my god. Oh my god, no. Oh, Abigail didn't find peace. Holy shit.
Look at me.
Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Fear.
Look at me.
Oh my god, he just wants to
Fear is the
protect his
relinquishment
kids.
of logic. I'm home. I am home.
This is the last place they were truly a happy family.
Off the hinges. How hard can it be?
Look, I tried everything.
Oh my god.
Maybe it was the two of us.
Oh my god.
Oh, Steve, wait!
Oh my god. Please don't say this is all in his head.
I mean, how I got out of the house.
Oh my lord.
I don't remember coming back to California.
Oh my...
I
He's
don't
still in
remember.
there.
You are a plastic parasite. A plastic hack, aren't you, honey?
Is it the house trying to get him to kill himself too?
Failed our marriage, or she won't be real either.
Stephen, you can have everything you want with her.
Oh,
Okay, just wake up.
she must be an Steve.
Oh my god. Oh, that really was Nell trying to help him. Luke. Nell, wake him up, please, before this gets awful.
Maybe it was the two of us. Dad! Oh, Steve, wait!
Yep. Oh god. Oh my god. the fuck? His family just should have got everything they wanted from this place. Oh god, oh god. Is he a ghost she saw in Hill House? Is that it?
Dad!
Is she a ghost she's been seeing since she was here? Oh, did she cheat on her husband?
That's for you.
I guess that's the thing about starting your own home.
Is this her darkest secret?
It's not
Miss last
gonna
call.
do it.
I've got all the makings of a mean martini in my room and
No.
nightcap.
I'm gonna say goodnight.
Nathan Scott.
That's not what you said, though. You looked at my
Oh.
ring, and then I said the thing about the carnivorous went upstairs with me because of the ring, because the ring meant,
He had as much to lose as I did.
and that was a calculation,
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Harris.
You don't know me.
People make
That's the whole
mistakes.
point,
They
just to
make
blame people
terrible
all the time,
decisions.
but not you. You flew home and it was like nothing happened. You got
They've
away
taunted
with
her
it.
ever
Good
since.
wife. Fuck you.
And even then, your anger at Theo, Kevin,
Fuck you.
so
Well,
righteous.
if it had been with her sister, that's a little different.
You just decided not to look at it. Now that's you all over.
That is how Shirley operates, how a lot of people operate.
Shirley never wants to look.
Oof,
But Shirley
fucking
has.
hell. Shirley, one mistake doesn't define you, and yes, you should have told your husband and maybe it would have ruined everything, but I feel like, oh god, a one-off one-night stand is more forgivable than, like, an affair. You could have worked through it. You can work through it. No, thank you.
Shirley.
Oh no. She's still fighting to save them.
What the hell?
Oh. Oh.
So we built a wall to keep it all outside. Those two sisters, they were in there with him. Even there.
Is that Mr.
The
Hill?
man thought his wall would keep them out, but
The
there
guy
was
that
just
scratched his way
enough
out?
room for him. And when he woke up, it was tall.
Fucking hell.
Tall.
That explains creepy tall man.
I'm loving you.
Oh god. Oh lord.
No. No.
Wake her up, please now. Wake her up, please now. Wake her up, please now. Oh god.
Go, go.
Check his pulse.
Oh.
I can't feel it.
Fucking there, Luke. Fucking there.
Oh. Breathe. Please, this is just the house. Oh. Push him back into the into life now. Don't know if it works that way. And she'd do it if she could.
Oh, I've missed you so much. Just work. I almost forgot.
He hasn't seen his mum since he was 6. Do they remember this? Oh lord.
You big boy hat.
Please say this is just the house in his head and he can be woken up too.
We're so glad you're finally here. Go.
Yes, listen to your darling little sister.
Why would you want your
Big
brother
sister,
to
twin
go?
sister.
He just got here.
Go, that's what she said to you that night.
Don't. And finally, here you are.
Is this really where they're trapped?
No, I have to get.
Oh. She was able to help him through.
You hear me?
We gotta get him to our hospital.
You were gone, man. I thought you were calm.
I feel a little clearer just now.
Oh.
We have. All of us have. We have been in this room.
So many times and we didn't know. All of us. This room is like the heart of the house.
That's what I thought.
No, not a heart, a stomach. It was your dance studio, Theo. It was my toy room.
Holy shit.
It was a reading room for Mom. The game room for Steve. A family room for Shirley. A treehouse.
Oh my lord.
But it was always the bedroom. Put on different faces so that
This is
it was
awful.
still and quiet
I could seep inside them.
while it digested. You have to live.
I don't know how to do this without
Learn the secret. No, without. There's so much I want to say to you all.
I'm so sorry our last words were in anger.
They weren't our last. Sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't answer the phone. But you did. So many times.
I'm sorry if I didn't.
I loved you completely.
She deserved to have a life full
You
on,
deserve
free
me
of
the
fear.
same. That's all.
This moment together. How do we get out of here and stop this house from ever hurting anyone ever again? Oh fuck.
Stay away.
Does Liv have some kind of power here over the years she's amassed?
I was holding the door.
And the children all inside it.
The door closed.
Finally safe.
But no, they're not. They're dying.
She got destroyed by this house.
You took them from me. You took them. And you hurt them, Hugh. And they
That's what the house said would happen.
They all do. We have to watch it all because we're parents.
You have to give them the
That's the
tools to
deal we
provide and
make.
be there for them.
Whatever that life is. Yes, I would.
We're all safe now.
But you're dead.
This
Nell's dead.
is
Okay, if you kill them all.
It always was. Nothing bad will ever touch them ever again.
Nothing good will either.
Exactly.
Open that door.
I won't let you take them away again. They'll die.
If they will die if they stay. They're dying.
Exactly.
Now. Our babies are dying. Into the world.
The house just thoroughly
Let them go.
corrupted her
I'll be
over
alone
months.
Those kids.
Liv deserves to get peace, even if it's an ending.
Open that door right now. Let me fix this.
And is Nell's spirit trapped here as well?
In lovers' meeting.
Stay awake. Stay with.
Start the car.
We need to put the house to rest somehow for Nell and for Olivia and for every other spirit that's trapped.
Probably best you didn't say anything to them.
I'm so scared. I'm so sad.
I can fix it.
Because he can fix anything. That little girl's dead upstairs.
I can fix it.
Our daughter snuck out of her bed tonight and we thought maybe.
There's a little dead girl upstairs.
No, no, no. 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 Oh, no. No.
Both of their children.
Make sure that
assimilate it. Run
Dude.
this house and its hills to the dirt.
She's still here.
She's not.
And it's done, we'll say nothing. You understand?
So they could keep their ghost child. She deserves peace too.
We know that.
No, we...
Keep us on. Keep everyone else away. Don't let it take anyone else. Never again. Let it starve.
But it's not peace for your little girl. Because she's a ghost.
So I can see her.
But from a parent, I
This
suppose.
house, it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
For both of you.
I don't care.
It
This is
killed.
where she is now.
It killed Nell. If he destroyed the house here, Nell would have lived forever. It's not real. It's not real in any way that counts. She's dead, she's never going to change or grow or find peace. And then the house killed Nell and haunted his children. And them, they never got to move on and find, I don't know what fucking peace you can find when your only child is dead, but...
Some things can't be told. You live them, or you don't. But they can't be told.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
That's what he saw. He agreed to stay with Olivia so she wouldn't be alone.
You and your sisters and your brother were the best part of my...
He was just trying to have a relationship with them. They could have healed their relationship and actually been the family.
Anything. Ever. Dad. And be kind to each other. And nothing else. Be kind.
You deserved a chance to be there, Dad. Again. I wouldn't be safe leaving this house. If there are ghosts, there must be some kind of afterlife or some other option, and there's all the evil in this house. Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
Home. I am home, I thought. Stopped in one.
I have something I have to tell you.
It's hard, but if you're committed to your
And I'm going
marriage,
to.
and if you made a
I need
mistake
you
and it's the
to
worst thing
remember all I
ever,
do while I'm falling.
this is brave. But it's the right thing, and I think a one-off one-night stand is something you could work through as in a marriage. Whereas like an affair is so different.
I've been a better son. Wish I'd been a better brother.
What are you saying, Steve?
We need emotional vulnerability.
Built a wall around a big part of my life, and I never worked that way.
Oh,
Please.
is she gonna bend gloves? She'll be more confident in her power. Oh, I'm happy for her. If you're emotional and vulnerable and honest, that's love and that's being a family. Poor people.
Is love.
But their children will never grow. But they're together.
We yield to it, but we cannot meet it halfway.
She's pregnant and they're together and they're still together.
Without it, silence lay steadily against the wood and stone of Hill House.
Thank you, emotional support, baby Yoda. I feel like, yeah, this time he was more of a, like, emotional support rather than for the spooks. Oh, I'm so sorry. All the crying, all the sniffing. Ugh. Okay, that was a really, really beautiful ending. And I don't even 100% know how I feel about it. You know, like, I like the ending. That was not an ending that has left me unsatisfied or left me cross or angry or anything. But I also still feel like that house has to be destroyed. I can... Then you've got the idea of, like, the people that have died, they are living on. But is it life? Is it a life worth having? Is it you never change, you never grow, you can never leave those walls? And one day Stephen will die, preferably of extraordinary old age, you know, one of the oldest people to have ever lived. And then it'll be his children and their children and their children to inherit this house. And it's, at what point is someone gonna forget the stories, or not believe the stories, or just think, oh, you know, yeah, my great-granddad, he was a bit crazy with those theories that he had, stories he had about his family. I'll sell the house, and maybe I'll even sell it for a lot of money because it's got this book written about it. And then a new family moves in and the cycle continues. You know, that is my one issue with leaving the house there, is that regardless of how much I truly do believe Stephen will make sure no one else gets in the same way that up until now Hugh had done the same. And I suppose the fact that they went back and they faced it, and that like 3 of their family members are there now, means the house is going to stop reaching out to them, following them with the trauma. They faced it, they can talk about it, is going to help them be safe. I just think like down the line it is definitely going to eat some other people, and I don't know that I agree with that, but I can then understand that and totally agree with the idea that there are souls in there and there are people, you know, there's the Dudley family, there's their mother and their father and their sister and all those other people that have lived. But it's interesting, it's a really interesting ending. It wasn't like the easy ending, which would have either been burning it down, you know, eradicating the house, or killing everybody, which obviously I wouldn't want. You know, they could have ended it in a really chilling way where like all of the Cranes are dead and then it's 5 years later and a new family is moving in or whatever, you know, kind of that like endless cycle. But all I really feel like we've done here is delay the cycle. And I don't know if I've just got a cynical or fearing the worst kind of look at things, but I just inevitably, however ironclad it is, whether in his will Stephen writes like this house must never be sold, and then in his daughter or his son continues that tradition and puts it in the will, eventually someone is going to break it and sell it and someone else is going to move in. I suppose we just have to hope that it will be so run down by that point that there'll be no saving it, and so whoever buys it will just burn it to the ground, and that whatever evil lurks within the walls will be gone. I do like as well that they never fully explained it. They never gave it a reason. They just kind of said like the house made itself, it has evil in its bones, it wants to eat. Kind of, yes, it did seem as though it was largely Poppy going around doing it. So was it just the house was sort of a ripe pickings for someone, and when she was there she was evil and she kind of took over, or is she just one of the many ghosts and she's the one that helps draw people in? There's a lot of questions that I'm in a way I like that it's unsolved, that we don't quite know, but then there's the other part of me that's like, yes, but I like to know everything about how things work. And like, was it Poppy? Was it the house? Was she just having some fun and the house was doing everything? We know who the tall man is now. He was Mr. Hill, the guy that walled himself up. Why was he following Luke? Was he following Luke, or was Luke imagining it? You know, just there's so many unanswered questions that I like, because I can 100% see that it's the style of the show and that they don't want to explain everything. But then there's that part of me that's like, yes, but you haven't explained everything. But obviously not everything needs an explanation. And yeah, I am so thankful that the remaining kids all survived. So sad for Hugh. I mean, in some ways he's at peace in the sense that he's kept the rest of his kids safe from Hill House, because they will not come back. They understand the truth. They are bonded closer together than ever because they know what they've been through. They know it was real. There's no longer that kind of lingering resentment of, oh, he thinks I'm crazy or she thinks I'm lying. They all acknowledge each other's pain and what everyone's been through. But then for Hugh as well, he's with his wife again. He is with his daughter. Maybe he can start helping his wife see that the kids are better off out there. I guess he kind of already helped her with that, with his promise and everything. I thought that would be his promise. I hoped his promise would be when he drew near old age he would go back in the same way that like Mrs. Dudley did, but I suppose he could get hit by a car or something, you know. You can't always determine where you're going to die. And so that was a sacrifice he made for his kids, and he'd do it again. And it's just so heartbreaking. And I think one of the things that was almost the most heartbreaking was that Olivia was still believing everything Poppy in the house told her. Still believing. She went from sort of being the I honestly like the best kind of mother. I don't mean that any kind of like real digs at any other mothers, but the type of mother that wants her children to have all the knowledge they can, to know everything about the world so that they can make their own decisions about it. You know, she was the kind of mother that was hoping these children would go out into the world and be strong, and the house turned her into a mother that just wanted them to die because then they'd be safe. And it breaks my heart that she has been like that all this time, that it has been her flickering porch lights and reaching out to them because she truly believed it was what was best for them. And Nell, saving each one of her siblings from the control of the house, and then getting to have those last moments with them to tell them she loved them and that she understands and that family was what matters most and she'll always be with them and everything. Although it does kill me a little bit that she's going to be trapped in that house forever. She deserved peace. She has her parents, so that is something, but she deserves peace. They all do. I'm kind of odd. Like, there is still that genuine part of me that's like, but no one found peace. Like, they kind of did because they're together, but then they didn't because then they'll never be with the rest of their family because they'll all die and either go to nothing or pass on to whatever on earth you pass on to, and they'll be in the house. And like the Dudleys, I can totally understand the Dudley standpoint of they have lost everything. They have nothing else to live for but their little girl. And then you see her stood there. How could you agree to something that could send that child away? And again, it's sort of bittersweetly sad that they're going to die in that house and be together with their 6-year-old and their newborn. And their 6-year-old and their newborn will always be 6 and newborn. They will never get to see them advance through life, and that is better than nothing, and I do agree that, but I think there will come a point. I personally don't think leaving the house standing was the right call. I can understand it, especially when, like, the sentence of there are precious things here that don't all belong to you, and obviously the remnants of souls are precious, and if that is the only way they can be kept alive, that does make sense, and that is something you should want to do. But it's not like the house is just anyone that happens to die there gets stuck there. The house lures people in and tries to make them die there, and I just know that down the line that's going to happen. So my only hope is going to be that Stephen's great-grandchild inherits the house and is like, oh my god, I've got this creepy old house, all these creepy stories, I'm just going to rip it down and build a different place there, and it's just a house, so when the house is gone and the material's scattered, the evil dissipates, the spirits find peace. Whether that is just fading into the silent darkness and like not existing, or whether there is a heaven in this universe given that there are ghosts, I don't know. I personally feel like they're not at peace because they're trapped, and even if in some ways there are nice parts of being trapped, you're still trapped. So that kind of makes me a little sad to think of it, and most especially of Nell, because her fear of the bent neck lady, or obviously that was her, but her fear of what that house did to her and her family followed her throughout her adult life, and then now she's just stuck there. And yes, she'll know she saved her siblings, yes, she'll know that she is with her mum and dad, and that is everything in so many ways. And we've seen little glimpses of them being able to not be in the house but to get to where they are, so are they going to pop by and visit? It's weird, I don't know. So I'm weirdly both completely happy with the ending and at peace with it, and also kind of annoyed. And I'm not overly, not like annoyed isn't the right word, I don't think it was the complete resolution it could have been, but then I also think it's not the kind of show that would necessarily give a complete resolution, and that does make sense for it. But I just feel like the spirits trapped in the house, as much as in some ways they think they're safe, and I suppose if Olivia seems to say that she floats through memories of happier times, that is a beautiful idea, but when you know the house lures people in, it needs to go. So then from a human standpoint, I don't know, honestly, that moment right at the beginning when Hugh and Stephen had walked into the house and there was a bang and Stephen went, "Dad?" It was like he was a child again when like something scary happens and you reach for your father, and given how strange their relationship has been, that was just so beautiful. And the idea of the house picking off the kids one by one and Hugh being helpless on the other side, and seeing the power Olivia had in the sense that Poppy listened to her when she said, like, told her to leave him alone. You know, yeah, she was a bit taunting and teasing, but she walked away. She wasn't like, no, I'm going to murder everybody. And Olivia just truly felt like, I almost think in this future where if the house were to be sold and there was enough in it to be renovated, because it was like this ancient house and it had famous, and so they sell it and someone renovates it and tries to move their kids in, Olivia would be the one being like, the world's not safe for them, they need to wake up. And that makes me sad, because that's so not who she was when she entered the house. Maybe Hugh's presence will help remind her of that. I think the spirits deserved peace. What they have now is kind of peace in some ways, but it's also not peace in so many other ways. So for Hugh, I think it's important to me that when he died, it was for his kids. It was to be with the love of his life. And he died at a point where his kids understood him. They knew why. Stephen knew why. I know he was dead when Stephen fully knew why. And he saw his dad's body when they were helping Luke out. I wonder what they were looking at together. I thought it was just at the stairs. And that he was going to go back to die. I didn't think it was that. And seeing the moment he found Olivia, the moment that Dudley's found Abigail, was awful. I think for Stephen, he's really realised, they all have realised, every single one of those kids, including Nell, although Nell doesn't get to then live the life afterwards, they've realised the full impact of the traumas of everything they went through in that house and how it has impacted them. And they've talked about it, they've acknowledged that it's real, and they've got people around them. Luke is staying clean and getting his life together. Stephen is going to have a baby with his wife because he finally let those walls down with her. He finally was vulnerable with her. You know, I think if he'd said, I really don't know if I can have a child because my whole family's mentally ill, my mother killed herself, I don't want that curse on others, their marriage might not have failed, because there are, like I said, if that was a genuine concern, if it was like a life-threatening illness that passes through a family, you could adopt, you could do all sorts of things, but he hid that from her. He hid that vulnerability, but him letting those walls down to her was so beautiful, and I think they're going to have a really happy future. You see Theo is finally letting her own walls down, because she's let someone in, she's moving in with her, and like they're having a relationship, and she's letting go of the gloves, which means she's willing to take in everything the world throws at her. And I feel like if I was her, I would have some gloves on me, because if things get a little much at any point, if, you know, you touch something and then you realise that actually, like, this was the site of a massacre once or something, you know, like, I feel like there will still be moments where I'd be like, I do not want this in my life. But I think in general that is such a huge step for her, because it shows that she is letting the walls down and letting the world in. Then you have Shirley, who, you know, everyone sort of thinks prim and proper Shirley, never does anything wrong, always good, never believes anything logical, straight. She did this thing, and it's been haunting her ever since, that she broke her marriage vow, that she had this one night stand with a guy. And, you know, it's something that I truly believe, that if you're in a long-term relationship, if you're in a marriage, and there is a betrayal, and it is a betrayal of that kind, a one-night stand, no strings attached, never thought of again, and it's weighed on someone. I mean, it would have been better had she told him, like, much sooner, like, and, you know, I don't think she's going to have told it. It's like, oh, woe, poor me. I think that is something that, if the love is there between you, you can work through it. And, you know, if it happens repeatedly, that's when things change. I think one-off like that doesn't have to be the end of everything, especially when if you look at the circumstances surrounding it, and like maybe you'd need time. Obviously we don't know how long it took him to come around to it. He may well have needed time to process and to accept that had happened and that she'd carried all this time. But I think a one-off cheating is not good. It is, you know, but it doesn't make you the worst person in the world. A long-term affair with emotions and feelings and prolonged secrecy and lying, that is disgusting. That makes you a terrible person. Just be honest. If you don't love your partner anymore, just tell them. And even if your affair doesn't involve sex, but you're having secret dates and dinners, it's still an affair, and you're still a despicable human. But for Shirley, I think, in so many ways, she almost was so, not pent up, but just all these anxieties and thoughts and feelings and self-hatred, and like, I don't deserve this, but also I do, and I don't, and I've got to be proper and do everything right because I made this mistake. I think it was all swirling in her, and I think she'll be much freer and happier now she has told him. Now that burden has been lifted, and, you know, ultimately the fact that he forgave her, that he's understanding that in some ways it's different, but it's also not that different in terms of the fact that it was a one-off, one-night stand. The money thing that he did, he has also betrayed her in a very big way, because that money was, the reason she didn't want that money was so vitally important to her. It was a betrayal. So I think they can both realise that no one is perfect, and in a relationship there are bumps. No relationship is just smooth sailing. there are moments where things get a bit tough and you have to work, and that's why if you do what Stephen has done and what she has done, if you're vulnerable and let yourself in, you can feel. So that was so beautiful for all of them. We didn't see a great amount of where Luke was, but I think it was clear that he's sober, he's keeping the pieces together, he's no longer being haunted by the house, he has his family around him. I think he's gonna be okay, and that's the most important thing for Luke. We didn't need to see that he was married with a kid or anything like that, because he is just becoming happy in himself, and that is the most important thing. So when it comes to the surviving Cranes, I'm over the moon for how they ended up. I really am. But oh, that house should be destroyed. I disagree with leaving it. I mean, I feel like the further I get from watching it, the more I think it should be destroyed. Like, in the moment, I understood, I saw everything. I saw sweet little Abigail and her parents' desperate pleas, and my brain was like, yeah, we should keep this house because they need to be together, and, you know, their mum's alive with Nell and with the dad, and they're happy because they're together. But then there's Poppy, and there's the clockmaker man who clearly got killed, and there's the tall man, and there's just so much sadness and tragedy and pain and misery in that house, and it's not going to rest. Yeah, the house for now might be like, yeah, I'll sit back, but it's evil. It's going to keep trying to get people in. Eventually some weird amateur ghost hunter people will break in, and Sam and Dean will have to come and exorcise the place. I mean, okay, I'm getting off track here, but you know, people will break in, people will try and get in, and especially if the Dudleys aren't there anymore to be like nearby looking out for people, I just don't see there being a happy ending for this house. And in the same way that him making that promise to the Dudleys, him saying, you know, yeah, I will keep the house, I won't destroy it, and you can keep your daughter's spirit, and my children can keep the idea of their mother as someone that was not part of a murder of a child, because if that had come out, then no one would have believed the ghost stuff, because they didn't anyway, and they would have just assumed Olivia went crazy and tried to kill her kid and killed a neighbour's kid. You know, it would have been bad, and it would have tainted their impressions of their mother because they were so young, and the nuances of everything would be too hard to understand. But it killed Nell, because if the house was destroyed, and if the idea is if you destroy the house, then there is no house, then it cannot, the evil is gone, because that is the only reason you would destroy it. Nell would not have been haunted by it, would not have been haunted by the bent neck lady, and would not have ended up back in the house. And I know she was saying things like you couldn't have changed anything, and I think while the house is there, that is true, but if the idea is we destroy the house and the evil goes away, from here at least, Nell would be living the rest of her life with her family around her. Hugh would have got to live to be older and eventually piece things together with his family. I don't agree with leaving the house there. I don't hate the ending. I think like it makes sense within the show with what they set up, with the whole thing of like there are precious souls in here that should be kept. But there is so much evil, and those souls are already dead. Their lives are gone. They've not woken up to anything good. They've woken up to being dead and knowing they're dead. And you know, it's like Luke said when he was in the Red Room in that moment when he was like, I don't want to be dead, and then Nell helped him wake up. They deserve so much different and so much better, and yeah, it's stressful. I know it was a promise that then Stephen took on, but I honestly think like if I was him, I would talk about it with the siblings, and eventually I would vote that we destroy the house. And I would also agree that I know stuff did kind of happen in the daytime, but I would be like, it can only happen, you may only destroy it at night. At night, you must only destroy it in the day even, never ever enter it. The minute it starts getting dark outside, everyone leaves. And finding out that the Red Room was a different room for each of them was insane. And at that moment when Theo had the door rattling, it was them on the other side of the Red Room, that in their minds they're walking down a totally different corridor and then they end up in the Red Room. That is just insane to me. Because we did see each of those kids on their own in a room that we never saw anybody else in, and same with Olivia. And the only time I properly noticed something potentially was off, and then was the time when Stephen, I think he was showing Mrs. Dudley the dresser thing. And she asked him where he found it, and he said the games room, and she looked at him like, the games room? But I just assumed, and then he went, oh, the one with all the games, and I just assumed that she hadn't realised it was being used for that purpose or something. But that was the only time one of the kids being in a room flared up. Obviously the treehouse as well, when that was addressed, but then I just assumed that was somewhere in the grounds, not obviously in the house. yeah, just how much it alters their perception is terrifying. And then that makes me start getting into very deep stuff here. Did it alter their perception into thinking it was okay to not destroy the house? So yeah, this show, oh, it was good. It asked a lot of questions. I think why this show is so well done and so successful, because I know, like, when it came out, I didn't look at any of the Tumblr gifs because I was scared, and also I was like, I don't want to see spoilers, but all I could see was it on Tumblr, and to this day I think I still see stuff about it on Tumblr, but just, like, it was so well received and so well done, and I have loved it this much. It's just, despite the ghosts and the supernaturalness of it, the reality of these people and their family and their problems, and the way you get to see this family, how their love for each other never changes, never wavers, and it helps them navigate things, it helps them work through it all, and then you get to see most of them be happy. I think that is why it is so beautiful, because you really do see these characters that are struggling and making mistakes and doing things that could be like unforgivable or whatever, but at the end of the day everyone's human and they all make the best of it and try and make things right, and it's just a really beautiful story. And then you add in the creepy house stuff that is also, you know, a beautiful story, very stressful. So I've absolutely loved it. And the spookiness, I feel like the spookiness dialed down as the season went on, with like the odd blips, you know, like episode 8 freaked me out. There were some moments in this one where I was like, ah! But I think as it got more real, as the emotions and the feelings became more and more front and centre, the spookiness died down a little bit. And it was really good because there were obviously jump scares, but the best scariness of it was just that thing where you start thinking something is going to happen, and then you're thinking, what is going to happen? I'm going to get scared now, I'm going to get scared now, and you work yourself up into a state, and then nothing happens or something does happen. It was just done really well. I think it was the horror was clever, it had a purpose, and even some of the stuff when at the beginning you're like, that was just scary, ugh. By the end you're like, oh, that makes sense, that's why. So I absolutely loved this show. I will go to my eventual grave, hopefully, you know, in hundreds of years. I will for the rest of my life, I will be adamant that we should have destroyed Hill House. Oh, I mean, I can also understand if you don't know what's going to happen. Is life there better for the spirits than being in nothing, not existing? Maybe, but I also could argue that no, because they're trapped. And also, what if they kill somebody else? I don't know. Let me know what you think. If anyone has watched the end of this review, if you think we should have left the house, if you think we should have destroyed the house. I think if it wasn't actively trying to hurt people, if it was just anyone that happened to die on those walls ended up there, I would be so much more pro keeping it there. And I mean, it would be the sort of situation where I'd almost want to get a vote from all the ghosts. Excuse me, ghosts, can we have an election, please? A democratic vote, a referendum? Do we leave the house or do we destroy the house? And yeah, I think that, but it's the fact that if anybody steps in there, the house is going to try and get them, and it followed this family for years trying to get them. That's where I'm really like, the house needs to go. But aside from that, this was a truly beautiful story. It was a tragic story. It rips your heart out in so many ways, but it's just so beautifully told. And the fact that at the end, you know, Nell's able to help save them. Hugh's able to get through to Olivia to save his children and to give his life for them, to then be with Olivia, and hopefully over time he'll be able to help her spirit break free from the ideology of the house. Because like I said, there is a point where you can think, yeah, if I can just wrap my kids up in bubble wrap and never let them out the door, they'll be safe. But they also won't live, which is another reason why the ghosts aren't really they're not at peace. I don't know, I'm stressed. But I think it's just such a complicated question. Like, I honestly feel like this concept of do we destroy the house or not is going to be rattling around my brain for a very long time to come. So thank you so much, Albert, for sponsoring this show and for all of your support on Patreon. You are the greatest, and yeah, I've loved this show. I'm traumatized. I'm like 90% we should have destroyed that house, and there's that 10% of me is like, yeah, but the spirits are inside and they do seem to want to stay, but then do that. It's a lot. So yeah, instead of just going around in a circle endlessly on this point, I will finish this reaction. Thank you so much for watching.